Welcome back, guys. Is the stream running? It should be running. It's still black. Why though? Guys, third stream today, cause I have a day off. God damn it! I've not played so much, cause this game is actually fun. Last time I was really tired of reading, and I probably should get a drink before I start the stream. That's a good idea, and I should have done it before I started the stream. But give me a second. I will get a drink very quickly. Got myself a drink, right? Just some water. Put in a little bit of iced tea to give it some sort of flavor. Because I think water is quite boring. But I understand that putting in iced tea pulver is actually not that healthy. So I just put a little in. So don't mind me. Don't mind me. That's basically what I ordered in this bar. Or this tavern. I'm sorry, it's not a bar, it's a tab. I ordered some iced tea. Simple as that. Should have done this before the stream. I am sorry. My bad. Yes. Good. Now I'm ready. Now I'm ready. Took a sip and now I'm ready. Okay, guys. We wanted to talk to Anivia. Hello, Anivia. Anivia is in her muted colors, blends almost perfectly into the background. She appears relaxed, but her seemingly unfocused eyes are taking in everything around her, tracking and filtering potential threats. The only tell is the way she drums her fingers on her lip. It's not lips, on her hip near the weapon sheath. Jesus Christ, I was like, something is wrong. I read something wrong. It's on her hip. She shows no sign of her injuries and confidently leans on her previously broken leg. She pretends to have just noticed you, even though she watched you approach from afar. Oh hey, so how they patched me up? See how they patched me up? Now I can run, jump, or dance. Jake, if I feel like it. Yeah, I had a little bit of trouble reading that because I don't know everything. I don't know what a jig is, but I guess it's a dance. Jigsaw. Jake. I don't know what a jig is. Whatever. I continue. Are there any suspicious? Are there any suspicious? God damn it! Are there any suspicious places in the city that I should pay attention to? There were a couple spots I wanted to check out, but I didn't have time. If there really is a den of cultists there. It would be good if you could swoop in there and bust some heads. You don't even need a search warrant. And if you shoots you a crooked smile. First one is the Skilken thread. It's a funny little tailor shop that doesn't take any orders and never buys any fabric, but they always seem to be so busy. They are busy with something in there, alright, but sewing it ain't. Skilken thread atelier has been revealed. Okay, we go there. Second one is the alchemy shop, Topaz Solutions, and they trade everything, not just healing potions. Judging by the ingredients they have been buying on the black market, there's something fishy about the alchemical rituals going down in the place. Topaz Solutions has been revealed. Tell me about yourself. She shrugs with a lazy smile. I'd be happy to, but there's kinda nothing to tell. What's so interesting about me? Where you from? Nowhere. I was blown in by the wind and found in a cabbage patch. She stops short. Sorry, that's an old habit of mine. I don't like babbling about my past, but you saved my skin, so I guess I kinda owe it to you. You're not to clown around, right? I'm from Nidal. Nidal is one of the oldest surviving countries in Avistan. And I wouldn't wish my homeland on my worst enemy. You have heard of the place, I'm sure. Ruled by monsters that aren't alive nor dead, and the official religion is the cult of Son Kuthon. The deity Son Kuthon, also known as the Midnight Lord, the Dark Prince and the Prince of Pain, God of Darkness, Envy, Loss and Pain, possesses one of the most twisted and evil minds in the Great Beyond. Oh, that's interesting. I grew up in a slum, like a weed between the cobblestones. I didn't have a dad, but I had lots of aunts and uncles. My mom... cronies? My mom's cronies. Well, cronies? I know the word, but I don't know what it means. No prize for guessing the kind of business she was involved in. They gave me a set of lockpicks as soon as I could hold a spoon. And while other kids were picking their noses, I was picking pockets. Cronies. I try to remember what the word means, but I think it's like crooked. Crooks. Something like that. Like people that are not entirely clean. When I was 12, the monks of the Silent Shroud came for us. Creepy guys with their mouths sewn shut. They're guards in Nisroch. Lisroch? I'm not sure. Mom gave me to her friends, and we hid in a secret temple of Desna. What is Desna? Desna, also known as the Great Dreamer, Lady Luck, and Mother Moon, goddess of dreams, luck, stars, travelers, and among the most ancient of deities. I never saw my mom again. I lay low in the temple for the next 2 years, kept my head down. I washed floors, fetched water, listened to sermons. Funny thing, after a while, I started liking Desna's teachings, but as soon as I was old enough, I was out of there. I left Nidal and got as far away as I could. Good choice. Quite a ragtag group you've got here, from nobles to street thieves. You got that right. Only the best for you. What do you do if the knights and the nobles fail to save the world? The lowlives are our only hope. How did you meet Ibereth? I was bumming around Timon a while back, doing this and that. Desnan temples sometimes gave me odd jobs. You know, sometimes they needed people with skills like mine. On the surface, it was fine, I guess. After Nidal, the freedom of River Kingdoms. The River Kingdoms have long been a haven for inland pirates, anarchist exiles, and anyone who cannot seem to make it in more civilized nations. After Nidal, the freedom of River Kingdoms should have seemed like heaven. My chance to sit back and enjoy life. But I wasn't happy. There just wasn't any joy in my life. I was all alone. No one cared about me, and I didn't care about anyone either. I struggled to find a reason to drag myself out of bed every morning, trying a stone around my neck, and jumping into the nearest river started to look pretty appealing. One day, I was hired to follow some fellas who the local authorities suspected were Rotsamiran spies. Rotsamiran. The realm known as Rotsamiran was once just another turbulent, violent river kingdom. Okay. I was stupid. I made a rookie mistake and they got me. It's like my body had already decided to do what my mind had been fighting, to finally put me out of my misery, get someone else to kill me, since I didn't have the guts to do it myself. They grabbed me. I thought they'd got me on the spot, but instead they hogtied me and dragged me off. And just like an animal going to the slaughter, my only thought was, let's get this over with. They brought me to the sinking cave, threw me on their altar, and I realized who it was. Cathiads, the deity Son Cothan, also known as from Nidar. They would track me down after all these years, but I didn't care anymore. Wouldn't even have cared if they would have eaten me or whatever. We all got to go sometimes, right? So I was lying there staring at those knives pointed at me when fate rolled the dice and I hit the jackpot. Natural 20. Ibereth. There she was, storming into the cave. And that's the time when you got engaged. When you fell in love with one. Picture it. I'm lying on the altar with all these knives-wielding maniacs around me, and suddenly Ibereth storms in. Ibereth Trinidad, a valorous paladin of Imode and the leader of the Eagle Watch. That's the orc. She made quick work of those scumbags, chopped them up just like that. I didn't even have time to blink. She untied me, and then Anivia's face lightens up, and she chuckles. she looked through the papers they had on the table, and she started swearing like a sailor. So much for Imode. How did June Ibereth end up in Kenabres? Almost becoming a human sacrifice. I knew I never wanted to leave Ibereth's side. Desna knows I fell for her instantly, and I fell hard. My misery was gone. And when Ibereth showed me what was in those papers, proved that the cultists had a nest in her home city, well, I offered to help without a second thought. Cheers, mate. I'm gonna drink. You're doing a good job, Anivia. Anivia smiles warmly. She must have figured out I couldn't wait to get my revenge on the cultists, but I didn't give a damn about them. It was her. I would go anywhere with her, even on a crusade, or into the jaws of a dragon. Yeah, okay. I guess the orc is quite manly. But I took to life in Kenabres like a duck to water. I used to be an archivist wherever I went, but half of the Crusaders are the same. After all, who would volunteer to tangle with demons on the edge of the abyss? You gotta be either a goody two-shoes with too much honor and free time, or a misfit with no life out in the normal world with normal people. People come here to run away from their deaths, the past, from themselves, so I fit right in. What is it like living in Rabeth? It's like living. Without her, I wouldn't be. Seriously, if I were alone, I'd definitely be gone by now. Sure, sometimes we argue, can't deny that. Sometimes we bang our fist on the table and yell so loud that the walls shake, but that's all about all the business. But at home, we'll give you an example. I have kinda always wanted to move out of that broom closet we call a house and into somewhere cozier. It ain't like they take a vow of poverty at the Eagle Watch, but every month somehow most of our spare money is spent on Crusader business. Sure, I get mad about it, but Anivia makes a helpless gesture. It was part of why I love her so much. You know, Irabeth has that thing that matters most for a person, a purpose in life. She's always got a reason for whatever she's doing. Oh my god. Don't get me wrong, I feel like that too. I need a person like that a little bit. Because I don't know what to do with my life. Her whole life is a crusade. And I just drifted around like a leaf in the wind. Oh yeah, I feel like that a little bit. Until Desna brought us together. Now she's the meaning of my life. So it really makes no difference if we live in a mansion or under a bush. Thank you for your answer. Thank you for asking. Telling you all this kind of made me feel better. What are your responsibilities in the Eagle Watch? Anivia smiles evasively. Nothing official. I'm not even a knight, you know. I just hang around. You sure want to know the details? Catching traitors and spies and cultists is no walk in the park. It's a delicate job. You can't always do it all within the letter of the law. What if we surprise some suspicious blighter with an official search? Everyone will know about it before long, starting with the cronies. Then again, sneaking into people's houses at night ain't exactly legal. Crusaders can't be doing stuff like that, can they? Well, I'm not exactly a knight. She trails off. I have to go, Anivia. It was very nice talking to you. I like her. I like her a lot, though. Yeah, she's quite yeah, quite nice. All right, you watch yourself, ma'am. Eagle Watch Crusader, Kenabres Crusader. Okay, different orders. Clearly, the Eagle Watch are red and white. The Crusaders are generally blue and red, and this one is blue and white. That is interesting. quite interesting. Those are like 3 colors and mixed in different ways. Yeah, this is mixed with this. Wait, red, white and blue. Yeah, that's cool. That's great. I like it. Noble survivors. Makes sense.
Let's move.
Peasant survivor. Citizen survivor. Okay, those are named ones. Let's talk to Giado. I believe that help is already the way. The queen will not leave us to die. Vitality Rathimus. A stout old man with a fuzzy grey beard. Yeah, it is fuzzy. Mumbles a prayer. He looks as tired as everyone else in the tavern, but determination is stamped upon his haggard face. What can I do for you? Show me the scrolls you're selling. Yeah, selling scrolls. We have protection. Alchemist cat, that's all nice. Huh? I'm falling asleep close. Sorry, that's a 1. Ring of power from, oh, daredevil boots. While using acrobatics to avoid provoking an attack of opportunity, Vary gains +5 complete bonus mobility checks. Oh, cool. Those great boots. When the wearer of this ring is blood raging and casts a spell, to save DC of a spell increased by 1. But I'm not a blood rager. I don't even have a caster, Obi. Oh, do you want to be my caster? Or you? Vitality Rathimus, rector of the local temple of Arbadar. The temple is gone though, and if we snooze here for much longer, the city will be lost as well. Who is that boy with you? This one, Kado. Don't get me wrong, my name is Robin D. Hood. If you get the reference, you get the reference. But Kaido, it seems like Kaido would fit into my group. Kaido should come with me. Kaido the shepherd, my apprentice. He's a smart boy, and his faith is strong. He serves Estero though, but there is still something he can learn from an old servant of Abadar. He'll be a great cleric when he gets a little older. What kind of help can I expect from you? First, I sell scrolls. I have a lot of them. Something for every emergency. Second, while you are here in the tavern, I can read one for you. Guaranteed no surprise. But you'd better not go into the city without a cleric. I won't be going there myself. I'm too old and my powers are needed here. I have to go. May Abadar aid you. Can I take him with me? I believe that I help to the bullet. Queen, not leave us to die. Peasant survivor. Lan. Let's talk to Lan. Hey Lan. Lan greets you with a nod. Here for a chat. I've been waiting for you to come and see what strange beast you've taken into your party. I'd like to know more about you. Let me guess, your first question is, can you wear a hat with your one horn? Am I right? You can speak common much better than the rest of your tribe. Funnily enough, common isn't all that common underground, Lan says. But your observation is correct. I used to live on the surface with my parents for a while and had a chance to learn a couple things. The language and the fact that every peasant who sees my scaly mark screams "demon" and runs away. I don't know if you're interested, but my mom wasn't from an underground tribe. She was a smuggler. The kind that used the dungeons of Kenabres to secretly move and store goods. One time, two gangs couldn't agree on how to share a prime cut. Got into a fight and the winner threw the losers down a hole, dead and living alike. My dad went to check if the corpses had anything useful on them and found a girl from the surface, barely clinging to life, and an incredible feeling sparked between them. Or maybe the girl just liked the man with scales and a cat nose. And a cat nose. Do you have cat nose? Is this a shadow or a cat nose? That might be it. One way or another, he got her back on her feet, and he later even left his home caves. She left her smuggling behind, and they began an honest life together. That's the delightful story to how old Lan came into this world. The next chapter, however, my family and I never stayed in one place for long. We lived sometimes on the surface, sometimes underground. We couldn't find a place to call home. Living in the caves was hard, or my mom and my dad's appearance raised too many questions in Mendef. They are at war against the demons after all. In the end, my parents decided to stop making each other miserable and separated. My father and I returned to our tribe. I think the peasants screaming "demon" had something to do with it. Or maybe Dad just couldn't stand life without rat tail soup. I wouldn't rule out that possibility. Did you come with me so you could see the surface again? I know. No, that wasn't it. I just don't have much patience for certain types of creatures. Demons, I mean. If they want to destroy Kenabres, I'll be on the side of the people that are attacking. They are attacking. Lan looks away. Good. Lan, you are my companion, and companions should trust each other. I'm counting on you to give me honest answers, not excuses. I don't like it when my subordinates hide things from me. Sounds like a poor reason to uproot a whole... Yeah, we go for good. Lan looks ashamed. I guess you're right. I shouldn't have been so evasive. It's just that some things are hard to talk about. My family, for example. I take a sip. Continue. My birth, hell take me, turned out to be a great misfortune for my parents, all because I'm relatively healthy. I'm the best thing that can come from a marriage between a cave-dwelling mongrel and anyone from the surface. A healthy child with the right number of hands and feet, no apparent defects. No missing organs or other problems. They saw hope in me, so risk having more children. They thought it would somehow be all right. A growl edges into Lan's voice. I could have had 4 brothers. The first was born 2 years after me and died 3 years later. He didn't have a nose. Nothing even remotely resembling one. He could only breathe throughout his mouth. Mom and Dad were afraid to take their eyes off him. for fear he'd choke and suffocate on something. But in the end, it was his weak heart that killed him. Then there was another pregnancy, a birth. I pretended I was sleeping, but snuck out of my bedroom and listened under the door. All those hours, it was very strange, but I never heard the newborn screaming. More moaning, yes. The priest praying. Then I dared to open the door a little and looked inside. The priest stood there very pale. One of them was holding something, a small object that fits in his palm. He asked, "Do you know what this is?" And the other said, "I think it's a head." Lance stops. Please go on. Enough. You don't have to keep going if it hurts you. I'll know. I started to tell you and I'll make it to the end. You want to know why I followed you to the surface? Well, here's the reason. Lan pauses, exhales and continues in a steadier voice. It turned out that this time Mom was expecting triplets. The first of the babies was born in pieces, and the two others didn't live long enough to draw their first breath. About 3 weeks later, my father took me to the caves. He didn't want to leave. I could see it in his face, but I think my mom and he decided it together. The curse my people have carried since the first crusade stood between them, not to mention the 4 dead babies. And old age was rapidly taking its toll on my father. After we returned to the cave, he only lived another 4 years. So if you're asking me why I decided to go up with you to the surface and join the Crusaders, well, the answer is I've always wanted to do. I was afraid to leave my tribe, but it always haunted me, and I would die in the world where 4 crusades could do nothing to stop the beast from the abyss, and the number of victims kept growing. I want to change that, or at least try to. And if changing things is too much to ask, then at least get a little revenge. The ones who are behind the world wound owe me a great debt. The lives of 4 brothers, all my mother's tears, my father's broken heart, it's a lot. Yes, it is. It's so much that killing a couple of demons won't do it for me. I want to do something real and am ready to pay any price. Call it my personal crusade if you like. Lan gives you a slanted grin. I used to think that things would be better if I would have never been born. But now I think I was born for this, to settle the score. Why didn't you go up and join the Crusaders before? I couldn't just abandon my tribe. I'm their best hunter. They will have it much harder without me. But now that the demons have nearly destroyed Kenabres and the caves almost collapsed on our heads, sitting and waiting it out just wasn't an option anymore. Anyway, I'm more useful up here than I'm down there. Plus, the chief let me go, which means my debt to the tribe has been paid. Would you like to find your mother? No. The word flies from Lan's mouth faster than an arrow. Then after a pause he continues, I don't want to meet her. Not because I feel any resentment. It's just that she's an half-elf. She's barely got her first grey hair, and I'll be ramshackled old man. I'll be a ramshackled old man. She's buried enough children. There's no need to make her witness the death of another. I hope you understand. I am very sorry, truly. Lan smiles, this time sadly. Well, then I'm very lucky. I met someone not only helped me choose the right path, but is happy to listen to my whining. Yeah, you whine a lot. Whiner. Your parents' love didn't survive hardship. But that doesn't mean the same thing will happen to you. What if you find true love, someone who won't leave you no matter what? And break my beloved heart when I die in arms 5 years later? That's a fine thing to do to the person you love. Then again, there's a chance I'll inspire some tragic bard to write a tearful ballad. Thanks for sharing, Lan. No, tell me your story again, no. Mongrels have a short lifespan, but you don't look like you're getting old or dying. How old are you? Lan chuckles. I'm as old as I look. No surprise there. But remember Sal, he is 10 years older than me. I remember him back when he was a fearless warrior, and day by day I watched him turn into an old man, him and my father. It happens very quickly. First you miss a shot because you don't see the target as clearly as you used to. You think it's because your eyes are tired. You tell yourself it'll get better tomorrow. Then you notice you're having trouble breathing, that climbing is harder than before. Lan clenches and unclenches his human fist. Your fingers stop bending. You have to tie your sword to your hand. You can't even put your greaves without help. Put on your greaves without help. When you are washing your face in the stream, sometimes you catch sight of a grey hair, wrinkled old man you don't recognize, and this goes on until one day you come across a cave beast and you realize you can't outrun it. Lan takes a breath. My dad kept diaries marking all the signs, and I saw it too. The last year I had to help him get out of bed, help him dress, remind him to eat. Sometimes he forgot my name. I told him that we should have stayed on the surface, and he joked that dodging a goddess was behavior unworthy of a crusader. He meant Pharasma. Who's Pharasma? I cannot look it up. Every morning I wake up and check how I feel, but there are no signs yet. Even so, I know I won't have much time. I need to do something useful before I forget why I came here. Wait a second, he's half elf. And they wrote like he clenches and unclenches his human fist. No, it's an elf fist. I want to talk about Wendra. Are you sure, Lan sighs? Alright. Tell me about your connection to Wendra. My connection to Wendra, I mean, where do I start? Lan turns the unexpressive reptile half on his face to you. We grew up together, trained together. She was the chief's daughter. She was groomed to be the best all her life. And then I came along. We were rivals, but we dragged each other out of tight spots too. I've always been drawn to grand, heroic gestures, sometimes idiotic ones, whereas Wendu liked to roam unexplored passages, finding new caves and making maps. She wanted to be a great huntress, the one would make it through the shield maze, but instead Lan shakes his head. It'd be better if she died. The death of a friend is painful, but watching a friend become a shadow of their former selves is unbearable. She doesn't think she's a shadow of her former self. Of course, she thinks she did everything right, because the second she starts to doubt herself, she'll have to face the truth. To admit that she's just a cannibal the demons used as a wish, as they wish. Lan's frown looks almost like a wince. She wants to get stronger and stronger, but for what? I never understand what drives her. Were you just friends, or were you more than that? Wow. You really don't pull your punches, do you? No, I don't. Lan exhales loudly. There was a time when I asked myself the same question, when the egg knew me better than anyone. She understood me better than anyone. She was my first woman. But we never loved each other. Maybe I could have grown to love her, but it always seemed like she never understood what love was. Maybe she just wasn't capable. Maybe she wasn't capable of these kinds of feelings. Thanks, I found out everything I wanted to know. So can you wear a hat with your horn? Sure I can, but certain designs don't suit me well. Lan speaks in a deadly serious voice. I found out everything I want to know, thank you. So many questions, so much to read. Dude. Tell me about your people. Of course, what you want to know? Nothing. What's like living in the caves? Are you really descendants? Thank you, I found everything I wanted to know. What do you think of life on the surface? You said you were prepared to risk your life to do something mean. Thank you. No, guys, well, if you want to know what he's saying, you're gonna play the game yourself. Because I'm tired of reading it. Jesus Christ. Pink eye. Ida Wrath. An imposing Jarl Ored is surrounded by a crowd of crusaders who are hanging on her every word. I hope this example clearly illustrates the difference between Jizka. The Jizka Imperium was the first human kingdom to establish itself in the Inner Sea region after the Century of Darkness. Between Jizka legionnaires from the last war and the Crusaders. The perfection of form and spirit they were imbued with during creation turned them into parts of a well-balanced war machine. Not a ragtag bunch of individuals, but a united whole. Now, tell me again why I'm supposed to be impressed by your reckless assault, where everyone is fighting for their ego and for the right to beat their peers to a swift but pointless heroic sacrifice. Some of the Crusaders grumble unhappily, but it's clear that they are captivated by the woman's words. The only exception is a scraggly and dis-halved halfling monk whose puffy black eyes give him always a brawler and a troublemaker. Gives him away as a brawler and a troublemaker. He enthusiastically pushes forward and tries to engage, but one of his friends swiftly jabs him in the back with an elbow, making the poor fellow pause to catch his breath. quite listen to the discussion. One of the Crusaders angrily curls his fist tightly and retorts with a burst of passion. If those chists of yours, or whatever, had come for us, we'd have the guts for garters. You think we've never fought a mighty adversary before? The soldier's stern facade cannot fully conceal his relish. He clearly plans to enjoy the confrontation. The Crusaders around him look upon their exotic opponents with a mixture of irritation and piqued interests. I need to drink, guys. There's so much reading, dude. The woman chuckles before cutting off her interlocutor. I would love to see you storm a 60-foot tall walking castle shaped like a gigantic elephant that carries siege fortifications on its back, and I'll have you know these fortifications were defended by Chikstan priest craftsmen armed with a demon-bound war machines. They're used to enemies you cannot defeat as mindless weapons. I don't understand the sentence. They used the enemies you cannot defeat as mindless weapons. They used the enemies you cannot defeat as mindless weapons. So they used the enemies as weapons? I don't get the sentence. The woman gives the people around her a triumphant look and adjusts her clothes with pointed nonchalance. Her voice takes on a lecturer's tone. You should not argue with someone who happens to be the most authoritative researcher of the history of warfare 3,000 years before the foundation of Absalom. The woman looks at you and flashes an amused smile. The lecture is over. Do my esteemed listeners have any questions? Attack! Insulting the Crusaders will cost you dearly. You're wrong to treat the Crusaders with such disdain. What's this last war you mentioned? The last war of Chikska, of course, a large-scale conflict that took place 3,000 years before the foundation of Absalom. It was a war against the Orisra pharaoh of Forgotten Plagues, one of the first civilizations to rise in the wake of Earthfall. Osirion is also one of the greatest empires in the history of Golarion. It looks like Jigsaw is like some sort of Roman Empire. The war has ended the legendary Jigsaw Imperium, an epic struggle that became the most vibrant page in military history. Alas, all conflicts that followed it were but a pale shadow, including the one I'm witnessing here. When do you find it expire? Oh. Imagine legions of golems imbued with extra-planar spirits marching into battle. Imagine flying cities that swoop out of the clouds like terrifying monstrous birds of prey to drop forces on top of enemy castles. Picture gigantic mechanisms powered by captive and very angry demons and devils. Imagine standing in the warpath of walking citadels, or having to cover your your ears to block out the sounds of cannons loaded with shrieking elementals. Finally, imagine the ultimate weapon to defeat the Jigsaw, the deadly Night Plague. This affliction was an attack dog, a trained epidemic, a tamed pestilence, striking only those who its master wanted to kill. Imagine all these terrors and understand that no fight or fancy can even come close to the horror of the nightmares that they made real. Oh yeah. I'm Indara, a warrior magnus and scholar of classical warfare from Garund. Garund is the continent found south of Avestan, across the inner sea and west of Casmaran, which it is separated by the ocean. The woman peers at you apprehensively, then sighs. I admit that I'm mildly offended by the face that my name is entirely unfamiliar to you, but I'm willing to accept that this is due to Avestan's isolation from the sophisticated culture of the world at large. You've come a long way to be here. How do you know so much about Jigsaw, last one? I can say without false modesty that there is no more authoritative research on glory when it comes to the history of warfare 3,000 years before the foundation of Absalom. I've dedicated my whole life to the subject. I've personally visited old battlefields and studied the most mysterious and forbidden archives containing chronicles and ancient wars, sometimes risking my life in the process. You're bound to treat the Crusaders with such disdain. Allow me to explain. A debate? Oh, I will be happy to prove that the current conflict can't hold a candle to the last war of Jigsaw. Very well. The last war of Jigsaw, I'm sorry. I just called Jigsaw because I'm tired. Was waged using a significantly greater number of troops. Both sides actively relied on reinforcements from allied planes, and the strategic planning was perfected through no fewer than 7 rounds of intense design. None of the above applies to the War of Use. Compared to Jigsaw, we are but stone cloud-wielding kobolds. I would like to conclude my thesis with a few words of wise counsel from Dagon, an advisor of the Pharaoh of Forgotten Plagues. I doubt you will comprehend the true genius of his statement, but here is the nevertheless a gadfly sees the ox pays no heed to the gadfly, but crimson fever takes them both. The events of the past are shrouded in legend, but the fate of the world is being decided here and now. That is what you fail to grasp. Succeed! The earnestness on a face of those around you has taken away Ida's penance, encouraging her to backtrack and stumble over words. Of course, I'm trying to diminish the importance of current events. What I'm trying to say Of course, I'm not trying to diminish the importance of current events. What I'm trying to say is that from the standpoint of history, and particularly the history of warfare, she falls silent, fixedly staring at the unfriendly eyes of her audience. The true importance of these developments won't become obvious until later. Great experience. 13. That's good. Man, I need a little bit of the drink again. Jesus Christ. Give me a second. Just mix the drink again, because reading that much is really strange, I'm telling you. It's an Indara. Indara offers a pretentious dismissal. As a scholar, I cannot deny that there is a certain truth beneath your skeptical statements. History is a complex discipline rooted in the fact and an evidentiary base that grows even more meager the farther the described period is from the present moment. Yes. Of course, if I were to argue in bad faith, the way Crusaders embellished the tales of slaying a single Brimorak by adding a dozen Balors, for example, I could win this debate, but I'm above such things, and therefore I'm forced to admit that your skepticism is not entirely without merit. I'm sure you would have been able to expound on your arguments in a long discussion. Then get out of our shelter. No, we're not hating on her. Indara nods with obvious relief. I'm glad we both understand this limitation. It is always a pleasure to face a worthy opponent, even if the debate takes place in a grimy tavern, perhaps especially because of that. Indara unbuckles her sword belt and hands you the weapon. This is a worthy blade. It will be of use, not only for the strong but also for the wise. The claw of Chiska. And this is where I bid you farewell. Before the end of the day, I was planning to observe how winged demons used pack tactics to drive the prey like herds of livestock. It is about time I go back to my research. The hint of a smile graces Indara's lips when she sees disappointment in the eyes of many crusaders around her. Stay safe. She just vanished. I cannot talk to Pink Eye. Whatever. Let's finish LAN, okay, guys. I won't do it because I want to know. Just this guy is talking so much. Jesus Christ. And I think he's a little bit boring. What do you think about life on the surface? No, tell me about your people. What it's like living in the caves. Lan gives you a broad smile. He smiles in a strange as its falters where his human features meet his animal ones. Imagine that in the entire world there's only a few hundred like you. There's not an inch of fertile ground anywhere, nowhere to grow grain for bread or cotton and linen for cloth. Your neighbors are beasts who want to eat you, or parasites who want to infect you with their larvae and then eat you. And that's not that bad, because you can try to eat most of the things that are trying to eat you. Sometimes at the risk of getting poisoned, sometimes with almost no risk at all. In the worst years, there's not a single living thing anywhere to be found, predator or prey. That's when you eat mushroom soup. I'd say 3 times a day, but there was barely enough for once every 3 days. Len shrugs. But life underground has its upsides, pun intended. But life in the underground has its upsides, pun intended. There's no risk of losing the roof over your head. Yes, there's no bad weather, not counting the earthquakes, of course. I mean, if it's raining, is there a possibility that water drops on your face anyway? So, are you really the descendants of the first Crusaders? More like a demon spawn, aren't we? Sad but true. Without the demons, there wouldn't be mongrels. It's the magic of the world wound that affected our ancestors and made their children the way we are. Like most in our tribe, Chief Sal fancies himself a descendant of the underground crusaders, the ones our heroic ancestors left to guard the caves. I don't know if it's true or not. The angel came to our caves for a reason. Maybe he remembered us. Those were evil and dangerous times after the First Crusade. Hundreds of crusaders began having children, and the babies were born with fangs and horns and warts that covered half their face. People didn't like the new look. The Inquisitors sure didn't. So our ancestors fled persecution and made a home for themselves down there under the ground. They probably intended to find a cure for the children and hoped to return in time, but it never happened. Instead, the World Wound's terrible legacy was passed down from generation to generation. Reminds me of radioactive poisoning. It hasn't been that long since the First Crusade. Why do you know so little about your ancestors? Our lives are much shorter than most uplanders. Up here, only a few generations passed, and many still live who remembered old Sarkoris. The lost Khalid realm of Sarkoris was a savage land of fiercely painted warriors. As it stood untouched by the demons, Queen Galfrey, for example. But where we live, mongrels start getting old much earlier than humans, much faster, with more devastating consequences. Few live past 40, and few still live long enough to die of old age. Hunger, disease, and monsters from the deep are more effective killers than time. Do you have a way to tell day and night? You can't see the sun in your cave. Every mongrel settlement has a big gong, which we treat like a relic. The gong keeper hits it twice a day to mark the beginning and the end. But this custom doesn't keep time very precisely. Every mongrel child has snuck up the gong to strike it at the wrong time at least once, just out of pure mischief. Nothing could keep me away from it, not even the fact that I only have one ear, which means it would take double the punishment once I was caught. So sometimes the wrong strikes get mixed in with the right ones, and the tribe can find itself jumping up to greet the morning in the middle of the night. Do Mongol tribes fight each other? There were some skirmishes, and I've been forced to kill my kinfolk before too. Lan speaks in a steady voice. Fights most often break out over food. We have laws in the case, written and unwritten rules that were followed, that we follow. We respect one another's right to live, but hunger, it can push a person over the edge. I've never, you can count on that, stole someone else's kill, but I can understand those of my kin who tried. To hear you kids begging for food and not be able to feed them is terrifying. He frowns and goes silent. You're the only member of the Netholam tribe to call your people mongrels. Why is that? Because of the Golarian calls us. Because all of Golarian calls us that. I don't see the point of all this hemming and hawing over what we're called. Anyone who finds it offensive or takes issue with it can lead the charge against the name. No one's stopping them, but personally I'm not going to pick the fight over something unimportant as a name. Thank you. Okay, I'm not gonna say that. You said you were prepared to risk your life to do something meaningful. What exactly do you mean? To invent a new salad and have it named after me, Lan remarks grimly, then sighs. Truth be told, I don't know. It would be much easier if all I really wanted was to kill demons. Then a few more demons, then more demons, and after that, yeah, more demons. Good honest rage and non-needless brooding. I think I actually envy the warriors who can live like that. But I can't. If life taught me anything, it's that there are no easy choices. Dying a glorious death isn't enough. Some heroes of the Crusades did that and also saved entire settlements, erected the wardstones. Their actions kept the lands of Medivh safe for decades. That's what I want. For my dumb short life to have meant something. I'm tired from reading, guys. Jesus Christ, I've been reading an hour. Can I please play the game at some point? You think I have an exaggerated opinion on myself? Some scaly freak claws out of the caves and wants to take control of the Wardstones and flaunt Imode's banner. Any fool can charge at the front lines of the demonic armies and die there. But what good will that do? I want something meaningful, you know? Even if I have to pay the highest price, especially if I have to pay it. There are plenty of worthier people who need to survive this war and tell everyone else what nutsacks we were. What do you think of life on the surface? It must be very different from life underground. Of course. Let me have a second. Of course, as far as living conditions, the surface is definitely a better place to be. It is easier to get good food and water, not to mention build a house, and even grow a few things in order well-established settlements. You don't have to deal with anything scarier than rats, or maybe foxes stealing chickens. As for the kind of lives you have, I heard a story about demon worshippers abducting a whole family and sacrificing them one by one while the others watched. But there were some brave crusaders knights nearby, and they killed the villains and saved everyone. And I heard another story. A young blacksmith lost his arm in a fire. Couldn't work to feed his wife and baby. They tried their best and lived from hand to mouth. But they were still destitute. In the end, the desperate blacksmith robbed a traveler one night on the road. But there were some brave crusader knights nearby, and they caught the robber and threw him in prison. Not long after, his wife smothered the baby and hanged herself. Oof. Oof. Up here, the same person can proudly say he's protecting the innocent from demons, and then look the other way, while the same innocent starves just because they were born into a poor family. Queen Galfrey prolongs her life with sun orchids, elixirs that cost enough to feed an entire city. Back in our case, everyone is equally poor, and if one person starves, the whole tribe starves. We don't abandon our own in times of trouble. That is the power of a tribe. The laws of the surface are made so that some get everything and others get nothing. I might just be a naive fool from the caves, but I don't understand how it's possible to have so much more and share so much less. Yeah, you're right. Anyway, look who I'm talking to. You must know life on the surface much better than I do. I'd never leave a needy person in trouble. I've been given more than most, which means I'm now more able to help others. We're in a struggle for our very survival against the abyss. This is no time to upend society in a quest for fairness. We go with good. A fitting reply. Don't take my word as a reproach. I like grumbling as much as crackling jokes. Lan is obviously trying to master a friendly smile, but it's an expression his face doesn't accommodate very naturally. Thank you, Jesus Christ. Just don't speak so much. I guess we're finally through with everybody. Right? No, we're not through. Still have Sheila and Hilor. Go to Sheila. Hi, Sheila. Oh no, guys. You're killing me. 6 questions. Okay, 5 questions if you don't count number 5. Sela smiles at you warmly. Hey there. During that march through the dungeon, we never got a chance to exchange a proper greeting. It's high time I shake your hand. I'd like to know more about you. Yes, I do, but reading it is a pain. It's a pain, guys. It's a fucking pain. I'm sorry. Of course, ask anything. I'll answer honestly. Tell me about yourself. Where are you from? I'm a little bit... I need a sip, guys. Okay. I'm ready. I'm a little bit from Gap. I'm a little bit from Gap. A little bit from Kenabres, but mostly from the Knights of Imade. I was accepted and began my training at 14. I belong to their ranks more than I belong to any other place. You've come to Medev by a long road, haven't you? A very long one. Sealer looks at you cheerfully. A traveler is expected to have amusing stories. Unfortunately, I have only 3 tales of interest, and I'd like to save them for our next feast. Otherwise, I won't have anything to show for myself. But it's time to start bragging. And that just won't do. Especially since I win tonight with cautionary tale of a battle with Chupacabras. What the hell is Chupacabras? Lawful, isn't your attitude toward life and war too carefree? Especially for a paladin. Was that a hint of reproach? Reproach. If you are only just asking, then no. I don't think so. You have to know when it's time for jokes and when it's time for mourning. The right moment for joys and for sermons. And sometimes a good traveling story can be all those things, if it entertains and purifies the soul. The story about the Chupacabras is one of the good ones. Picture a small town in Quadria, the westernmost satrapy of Padisha Empire of Kalash. Quadria is a kingdom with the power of the sprawling empire at its back. Okay. Picture a small town in Quadria, and down in the dungeon there's 2 murderers waiting to be executed. The gallows are already built for them. The rope's been brought. But sometimes life takes a surprising turn. Suddenly a paladin of Imade appears in the doorway and offers the murderers a deal. If they go with her to fight some monsters, they'll live. If they survive, that is. If they survive, that is. There's a big difference between imminent death and probable death with a glimmer of hope, wouldn't you say? So, here we are traveling through the desert, me and my friend, a priestess of Sarenre, known to a faithful as the Dawnflower, the healing light, the Everlight. Sarenre is a goddess who teaches temperance and patience in all things. Okay. Along with little rat folk fellow would ask for our help, and the 2 cutthroats. We get to the rat folk village and see their bodies lying around, all drained dry. We figured we'd have to fight vampires. That's how the little rat folk described the monsters who attacked their village. That's why we went in all brazen like. The sun was high and the vampires couldn't attack until dusk. But we never got a chance to look around. Black shadows quick as the wind attacked us from all sides. Not vampires, but Chupacabras. I have no idea what this is, man. Is she joking? Is she making this up with Chupacabras? One of the lads we pulled from the gallows got killed right away. The second one ran for his life. That left me, the rat folk, and the Kyra. That was the name of the priestess, And we all steeled ourselves for the fight on ourselves, for our lives. Jesus Christ. And just when we thought the end had come, with the Kenabres surrounding me like a pack of dogs around a bear, our red folk friend wounded and down, and the teeth from the quickest of those blasted monsters clenched on Kyra's shoulder. Right then, when all hope was lost, the other lad from the gallows suddenly comes running back. He kills the beast, attacking Kyra. I'm sure you know what a turning point in a fight looks like. Well, this was it. A moment before we were lost, and a moment later we had it back under control. The Kenabres dropped dead. One by one, the little red folk is reunited with his family, who were hiding in the basement. The priestess and I chose the eyes of that boy from the gallows who saved us. It was a shame he didn't survive the fight. May the gods keep his soul. Close the eyes. I'm stupid, man. After reading so much, I'm stupid at reading. May the gods keep his soul in its journey through the afterlife. That was an interesting story. Yeah, sure. That's a good story. He could have died in disgrace on the gallows, but instead he died a hero. Did he die? Wait. Okay, now I understand. We need to reread it again. He died. They closed the eyes of the boy that saved him. Yeah. I expected a more cheerful story, and now I'm sad. That's a good one. And I'd fancy the stunt earned him some points at his final judgment. It's smart to remember our journey doesn't end in death. Had it not been for that mercy, Milos, that was his name, would be hanging from a noose, and me, Kyra, and the rat folk would be dead in that village. Someone told me that a kind deed done by an unkind person is 100 times more precious. By the same token, an evil done by a noble soul is 100 times more horrifying. That's what I really wanted to say. The Kenabres were just a good starting point. I don't know what Jesus fuck. I tried to understand the name of those creatures, but I don't. What made you become a paladin of Imode? Sela glazes sharpens momentarily, then sighs. That's a serious question and a goal. You should ask it of your companions. But it's a long story. To start with, 12 years ago, I was nothing like the person I am now. I roamed. Jesus Christ. You see, I'm tired of reading, guys. I cannot read English anymore. Jesus fucking Christ. I roamed the streets of Solku with the other homeless orphans. I thought I was hired. I was a hired sword for a bit. Not the proper origin of our paladin, is it? Back then, Solku was a city of orphans, widows and widowers. Gnolls decimated the city regularly. My parents were among the victims. People there heard about new deaths before they finished mourning the previous losses. One day, a group of knights of Imode brought a glimmer of hope to the city, but while others saw them as saviors and protectors, I was busy pricing up their noble horses and their gleaming mithril armor, wondering just how much one of their pretty swords would fetch. A thief lives one day at a time. That's what they say. I was the type that never thought past the next job. Anyhow, I was able to sneak into the knight's camp and steal one of their mithril helms. Sheila pauses, her voice sad and measured. And I was right there with a null attack the helmet's owner. And I was right there when a null attacked the helmet's owner. Akemi was her name, and dealt a blow to her unprotected head. A null, like all those others she'd fearlessly driven from the gates of Solku. The one blow was fatal. But who was really to blame for her death, the null attacker or the young thief named Sela? I know what it takes to survive sometimes. I can judge you. Even seemingly small misdeeds can have terrible consequences. Yes, you're right 1,000 times over. I hate to say it, but I just didn't see it back then. It's a butterfly effect, I guess. And if I had never got that lesson, my eyes would probably never have been opened. Who knows what would have happened to me if it wasn't for Akemi and her bravery. The daring and noble Akemi was a paladin of Imode. And her death. Maybe the world would know Sela as a bandit, not as a knight and protector of those in need. There's a saying I like to remember: people rarely find redemption on their own. Sometimes someone must show them the way. But you were asking what brought me into the ranks of Imode's warriors. We all choose the paladin's path for our own reasons. Some are guided by nobility of spirit, some by a desire to fight injustice. I became who I'm through penance and debt unpaid. The day Akemi died protecting my city, I wanted to kill myself for the terrible guilt I felt. But then I realized it wouldn't make the world any better. And I decided that instead I tried to take her place. I'd become who she had been and protect the innocent that she would no longer be able to protect. Oh, that's at least a good ending. What are the principles that paladins of Imode follow? Sela smiles. I'd tell you. I like to recruit our code. To recite our code. It feels like I've said it 1,000 times, but it never gets old. There is strength in these words. After a pause, she brings her voice slow and meditative. I will learn the weight of my sword. Without my heart to guide it, it is worthless. My strength is not in my sword, but in my heart. If I lose my sword, I have lost a tool. If I betray my heart, I have died. I will have faith in the inheritor. I will channel her strength through my body. I will shine in her legion, and I will not tarnish her glory through base actions. I am the first into battle and the last to leave it. I will not be taken prisoner, by my free will. I will not surrender those under my command. I will not abandon a companion though I will sacrifice freely given. I will honor sacrifice freely given. Ah, Jesus Christ, guys, I cannot read anymore. I read honor as horror. What's wrong with me? I will guard the honor of my fellows, both thought and deed. I will have faith in them. When in doubt, I may force my enemies to surrender, but I'm responsible for their lives. I will never refuse a challenge from an equal. I will give honor to worthy enemies and contempt to the rest. I will suffer death before dishonor. I will temperate my actions and moderate my behavior. I will survive to emulate Imode's perfection. Thank you, I've learned everything I wanted to know. That's just the first one, Jesus Christ. Ibereth said your friend Jana Aldori is missing. Do you know where we should look for her? Irebeth is worried about her fighters. I understand that. I wanted to look for Janet myself, so I didn't distract you. But since you are in this too, I could use some help. Jana and I met in Kenabres a few days ago and just hit it off. We went drinking together. We went to that unforgettable celebration together too, but we got separated in the crowd. She should start looking from the main square. That's where I saw her. Seela frowns. Jana's a good fighter, even if she's green. She couldn't have become an Aldori otherwise. I hope that means she's right. She's alright. Okay. What do you think of what's going on in Kenabres? A friend is in need is a friend indeed. Got a quest. It's complete chaos. It's lucky we are here to handle it right. Seela smiles brightly. Then she gives you a worried look. Does the way I talk bother you? I know I can seem blasé. Many good people and our protector Tyrendelev died here in Kenabres. A paladin of Imodes is expected to be properly respectful and solemn. But I prefer to face my troubles with a smile and a bit of common sense. Grief is a weapon they'll use against you. I can undermine a warrior spirit. It's better we hold off on grief until we have driven the last demon and cultist from the city. There's wisdom in the traditions of mourning, and one shouldn't reject them. All the more so if inappropriate merriment could offend other mourners. Many people loved ones perished in Kenabres. Guys, I'm tired of reading, but I will continue until it's done, I think. Because then next time we can play the game instead of reading. Guys, come on. Seela sighs. You might be right. I should keep myself in check more. Better discipline, more self-control. Qualities suited to a paladin. Is fighting demons all you want, or are you looking for something more? How about covering myself in glory and becoming the hero of 100 ballads, or at least dozens, if they are lively ones? Seela's eyes shine cheerfully. Anyway, To be more serious, the area around the World Mound is the best place for a paladin who wishes to defeat the weak. Jesus Christ. She wants to defeat the weak. It remembers me of a song on the internet. Oh, I wish to show you, but I can't. Defend the weak and serve God. Being part of the crusade is reward enough for me, but there's something that worries me. I don't want to sound like I'm criticizing my brothers in arms, but the Eagle Watch and the other orders are focused on just one aim: the war against the World Mound. That's why they can sometimes overlook the small things, ordinary misfortunes, you know. I always like being a wandering knight because any moment I could get up and go help a poor rat folk whose family had been kidnapped. Yeah, Jesus Christ, that's the story. Or an old woman whose favorite dog had gone missing. So here's my answer. I don't have some big important goals, but I'll be happy to help those who need it. A little bit here and there. Yeah, thank you. Until next time. See you. Guys. Oof. Oof. It could have done a little less questions. Hilda. Hopefully Hilda doesn't talk so much. Hilda, a tall, athletic man, greets you. His hair is prematurely grey and shorn close to his head in a military style. Cool. Military style, was it? He is lean and well-groomed, and a monocle twinkles coldly in his eye. The bold set of his jaw and his large but agile frame attest that here is a man who is always ready to be on the move. Greetings, I am Hilda, venture captain of the Pathfinder Society. Nice to meet you. I am the superior officer among Pathfinders in this region of Mendev. However, the society is running almost no operations here right now. Besides me, there are almost no Pathfinders here. Actually, I'm only stuck here because of an old feud with a demon worshipper known as the Spinner of Nightmares. I've had to work alone without the support of the society, but I've made a lot of acquaintances among the local mercenaries and daring fighters. If you need any good fighters for an honest cause, talk to me. Tell me about the confrontation of I want to know more about you. My companions and I need good training. I will get a great mentor from Absalon. For the first few times he'll train your fighters free of charge. Oh, cool. Nice, I can retrain. Okay, tell me about the Spinner Nightmares. It all began with the task of the Pathfinder Society. I arrived at Nerosean, the capital of the Crusaders state Mendev, with my team to investigate the sudden death of a famous crusader, Baron Fallen. He soon focused in on a small hospital for a wealthy, where Fallen was being treated shortly before his death. It turned out that a gang of Baphomet's cultists, calling themselves the Labyrinth of the Mind, had gotten a foothold at the hospital. They were obsessed with twisting the minds of their victims and targeted the fragile people too weak to resist. The hospital was filled with perfect victims, isolated for weeks from the outside world, completely helpless. And when they returned, they were different, almost normal. But the moment they heard a certain phrase, something dark awoke in their mind, and they transformed into servants of Baphomet, ready to lie, betray, and even kill. The labyrinth of might was preparing to infiltrate all the elite circles in Mendith, but Baron Fallon stopped them. He was too loyal to the oath and too resistant to their spells. He fought for his freedom until the strain broke his heart. We opened and cleaned the city of Baphomet's pit of vipers. There then was a cradle of sin and filth. They cast spells on each other, and their loathsome fantasies stepped real from their minds into the world. They dreamt of horrible and forbidden things, and they fought like mad. They burned the place to the ground and slaughtered everyone we could. We burned the place to the ground and slaughtered everyone we could. But the leaders of the cult were able to flee, and they were set upon revenge. They abducted my daughter Luri, who served under my command in the Pathfinder Society. They left me a note full of tart insults, mockery and sneers. From the note I learned the name of my enemy, the Spinner of Nightmares. A few months later I confirmed that she was the leader of the Labyrinth of the Mind. My hunt had begun. I would get Luri back at any cost. Okay, good. Good luck with your back, yeah, okay. Yeah, don't bore me. Still one left to talk to. Irabeth. Let's talk to Irabeth. Hey, Irabeth. Irabeth rubs her red and tired eyes. Any success? How's the city? What's our main objective? You heard what the demon said. They're going to desecrate the Wardstone and blow up the whole barrier around the World Mound. That would be an even worse disaster than the World Mound's expansion before the Second Crusade. Not only Kenabres, but every city didn't I read this before? Will be destroyed, including the capital. Blee blah blah. What are they? I think I already asked this question last time. They sound very familiar. So guys, it is time. To the basement. To the basement we go. Now it's coming at me. Let's see what the basement has to offer. Hello. Surrender thy soul, Delvan. Emodab protect us. Haha. Got you again. How many times is that day? Take your chokes, Chauvin Tiefling. Don't hit me. Button won't budge.
Hey, Chief. Hey, Dreamboat, come over here. I want to talk to you about something. Something really important.
Is it a character I can't take with me? At least He reads his stuff himself. The young tiefling sits cross-legged on the floor. He looks relatively calm for someone in shackles, but his tail whips back and forth in agitation. Noticing your attention, the tiefling sits up and beckons you over. Are you a spellcaster?
Quit bothering the decent people in here, Woljif, or I'll knock your teeth out!
Delwan.
What's it to you, Delvin Dum-Dum? You were told to guard me, and I'm not stopping you. But no one told me I had to shut my trap.
I like the guy. I like the guy already. So he casts something, probably a cantrip, to distract him. They got afraid that he was casting, I don't know. Yeah, I like him already. Who are you?
Woljif Jefto. I deal in useful things. I can get you whatever you want. Anything. But there's just one problem.
Yeah, the tiefling rattles his chains and gives you a meaningful look. Yeah, I see the problem, guys. What do you want from me?
I'll lay it out for you. Simple job, 30 minutes tops. We go someplace, talk to someone, and in return, whatever you want, I'll get it for you. Some extra rations? No problem. Armor, weapons, scrolls, you name it. It's as good as yours. If you need my help with something, whistle and I'll be there. I'm handy enough with knives too, and even my magic know-how isn't too shabby.
Yeah, you good with knives? I need you, man.
What a load of guff! If you were good at magic, you wouldn't be stuck in here now, would you?
Don't you listen to him, Chief. He'd find fault with the Queen herself. I'll be useful to have in battle, and I'll sell whatever you want at a reasonable price. It's your lucky day. You won't meet another gem like me in Kenabres.
I can't help you while you're chained up here. How can I free you?
That's easy. You know Irabeth? Feisty-looking gal, always wears armor.
Yes.
You can't miss her. She's the meanest fighter in the whole city. When you see her, put in a good word for me, will ya? Tell her there's this guy, Woljif, locked up for no good reason in the Defender's Heart. Well, for the follies of his youth. And he really wants to get out on bail so he can keep up his good behavior and make a contribution to society. You got that?
Alright, I talked to Irabeth. I need this guy.
I knew I could count on you. Knew it the moment I
He
laid
grins.
eyes on you.
Why are you in
Does
chains?
it really matter? Don't get hung up on the past, Chief.
Out
Don't
on
look to
parole.
the future. Live in the here and now.
He was caught thieving.
Your shadow, what was that?
Get me out of here and I'll tell you. And don't worry, it's not contagious.
We'll talk later. Yeah. I'm looting this place too, so... No judgment between thieves. Did I saw a map here? No. Probably a scroll or something. What are those? These braces grant a rare +1 more bonus on damage rolls against demons. Very good. She has a lot of weapons. Yeah, okay, guys. What the hell is this? I don't know. You can pull it again. Old map of Avestan. Can I look at different maps somehow? No. No. I mean, I was looking for that before. info. Huh. Just interesting to sell, I guess. Outside.
Follow me.
That didn't do shit. There's another one of those. Do shit? Well, why are those here? I don't know. The outside. No. We talk to Irabeth first. Hey, yo, Irabeth, I found an interesting guy that I want to recruit. There's a tiefling chained up in the defender's hut. What can you tell me about him? Irabeth shrugs scornfully. Woljif is a pretty thief. If a pretty thief, guys. No, I just want to read correctly. Come on. Woljif is a petty thief from a gang of thieflings operating in Kenabres. That's what we call them in these parts. They tried to rob a vendor of magical items recently. Unfortunately, we apprehended only one of them and the rest managed to escape. We have nowhere else to keep him apart from the defender's hut, but that's hardly a prison. Woljif knows it too. He's been begging us for days to let him go free and have someone vouch for him. He's already asked you to put in a good word for him, hasn't he? Irabeth squints and you thoughtfully, then shrugs. If you want to recruit Woljif and put him to good use, go ahead and take him off our guard's hands. We can ill afford to let a soldier spend their days watching over a middling thief. I hope the thiefling proves useful, should you decide to take him along. Yes, I want to take him along. To the basement. Let's go.
March on.
Well, Chief, what do you got for me?
Morgan's sitting impatiently. I talked to Irabeth and I've decided to make you part of my troop. We'll see how it goes.
You must be a smooth talker. Come on, Delvin. Get these bracelets of yours off me. I'm going free.
You're sure to regret this. This tiefling will fleece you for everything you've got. Mark my words.
You're a bitter little man, Delvin. Petty and mean. You can't even be happy for me, can you? I pity you. I'll leave you alone with your sad little soul. And now, Chief, straight down to business. You see, I'm one of those guys that people around here call thieflings. We just call ourselves the family. After we knocked over that shop and I got stuck here in the Defender's Heart, a little bird told me that big sister Carisme wanted to see me. That she had some questions to ask me. You following?
Woljif is freed from his shackles and rubs his chafed wrist. He glances around, making sure that no one is listening in.
Now, she won't be asking me questions like, Woljif, how'd you manage to get out of this one? Or, Woljif, you're so thin, didn't they feed you? No, something serious has gone down, and I just know they want to try to pin something on me. I can feel it in my tail. So, I knew right away that I couldn't go alone. You turned up just in time, Chief. You don't need to do anything when we get there. Just stand behind me and look mean, and I'll handle the rest. Somehow. Let's go, I'll show you the way.
Where did he go?
Onwards.
Where did he go? Oh. Origin. Hey Chief, wanna talk? I want to know more about you. Oh my god, no. Shut up. How much is more? Are your family tieflings too? My family's an interesting story, actually, but I don't tell it to just anyone. My father and mother had a bakery. Their life was great, but the gods never blessed them with any children. One day my mother went to the river to wash some clothes and saw a basket floating downstream. Inside the basket was a baby, adorable and chubby and fast asleep. It was yours truly. In my hand was a note spiced with expensive perfume that said, "Take care of my little angel." My mother brought me home, and she and my father realized right away that I was heaven sent. They raised me as their own. When I turned 15, my mother showed me my baby blanket. It was embroidered with the coat of arms and an unknown kingdom, all in golden thread. Ever since then, I've been looking for my real parents, but it's not easy. Traveling takes money. So if you have a few gold coins, I'll pay you back as soon as I find my real family. Like he's Moses or something. I give you my word. That doesn't sound very believable. Seriously? Usually everyone just believes everything I say. People love stories like that. You know, a cute baby, a basket, a blanket. What's not to love? They look at me differently, as if I'm worth more just because the sheets I spit up on might have had a fancy coat of arms on him. Walden laughs bitterly. If I was really a prince, I wouldn't be sitting around here. I can tell you that much. I'd have already gone to take what's rightfully mine, and then I'd come back with an army, so I could watch the guards and merchants who pushed me around all my life, bow and scrape before me. But that's not gonna happen. Wanna hear the real story? The true story is boring. My family is human, both my father and mother. They used to live in a village nearby. I forgot the name. When my ma had me, my old man got so mad he almost killed her. Pinned her to the wall and started asking questions like why his son had horns and a tail. Well, my ma told him that her mother, my grandma, used to fool around with a demon. When he heard this, Daddy Dearest got drunk, trashed the house, and then took off. I don't remember any of this. Of course, my grandma told me. I was about 3 years old when my mother brought me to Kenabres and left me with my grandma. She said to her, "You and your demon have ruined my life. Now you handle him." Then she left. I haven't seen her or my dad since. She did leave a blanket though. The part was true, but my grandma buried it because it was infested with flies. It wasn't even good enough to use as a rag. You think after all that my grandmother saw the light felt ashamed and kissed my horns. I wish. Origins grins nastily, his fellow eyes flashing. People used to give her trouble for fooling around with a demon. She wasn't welcome anywhere, so she got angry. Normal kids get bad time stories. But the only... I'll read the sentence again. Normal kids get bad time stories, see? But the only tales I got told were how my dad was worthless, my ma was a slut, and I was a demon spawn that no one cared about. She only kept me so I could help around the house and steal things she needed. So that's true. Guys, I'm really tired. It has been 2 hours of just fucking reading. We will read this next time. Jesus fucking Christ! I've just been reading. I'm tired of it. Chaotic neutral. What are you actually? Eldritch scoundrel. So we have a colluding scoundrel. We have an eldritch scoundrel. We have a Zen archer, a spirit hunter, and a paladin. Next, deadly aim, mythic. What does deadly aim do? Good. I like that. It's different from what I chose. He's on 2. Longbow, of course. That's great. Shaman Spirit Hunter. I don't want to skill him myself because I'm really what's it called? Use lay on hands to heal damage on the target. Target is no longer sickened. I'm really what's it called? It's just too much, like to read and to get into, and I rather want to ease myself into all of this. Precise strike.
This is my path.
Can I actually mount?
I can't cast it like that.
Okay, cannot mount. But I want to try anyway. So guys, this has been it for today. I'm just tired of reading, right? Jesus Christ. So we will read this guy and hopefully we can play the freaking game at once. And yeah. See you the next time. This was Pathfinder. I wish you a great evening. My name is Glenn Schucker, and I'm out for now because it was too much reading, guys. It was definitely too much reading. I'm sorry. I'm so sick of it. And my quality of reading has going down and down. And guys, I like reading and stuff. I've done it in Banner Saga, but I don't know. The Banner Saga, it was easier to read. This is really hard to read, and it's a lot. Goodbye. See you next time. I guess tomorrow. Yeah.